Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Y'all black. Y'all are black. And y'all sitting up here beating and attacking on a black woman.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is an example of diversity, equity, and inclusion that goes a little unchecked. And this is Tiffany Henyer, hailed as a superstar, yeah. And now that she has been selected, let's watch how it unfolded to 2024. A little chaos.
Okay, so if you've driven one of the expressways in the south suburbs recently, you've no doubt seen one of these giant billboards. They feature the name and the face of a smiling local politician. What you may not know is the money for these billboards is coming out of taxpayers' pockets, and that's raising questions for Tiffany Henyard, the Dalton mayor and Thornton Township supervisor, who has already come under fire for spending public money promoting herself.
This isn't the first time Henyard has used taxpayer dollars to burnish her own personal image. In fact, on other occasions, she spent a lot more.
Hey guys, this is Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Earlier this year, Fox 32 showed you how Henyard spent tens of thousands of dollars using employees and vehicles from the township and from Dalton, where she also serves as mayor, for a week-long walk to Springfield to promote her self-named cancer charity, which is yet to file required reporting.
Just like BLM create BLM to help people that are black. First female mayor of tiny Illinois village who hired Bada Beam Boom Bash is slammed for living like a royal after demanding $300K salary using taxpayers' money for a billboards, hair and makeup, and passing a law so the next mayor will earn just $25K. Wow. If you want this job, you have to do it poor because I like it. Because I'm rich. By the way, the part is kind of covered. It's a gang. Hoo. Funky time. Huh? Little people. Yeah. People being selected just because of their identity, and when they fail, they will use the race car to defend themselves.
But back to that ordinance, which passed without Gonzalez's support.
They're like, I can't believe this. How could someone do that?
What it does is to ensure that Henyard continues to receive her $224,000 a year salary as township supervisor. But if a non-incumbent becomes supervisor, in other words, if someone challenges Henyard and beats her, the salary for that position drops to just $25,000 a year, a pay cut of nearly 90%.
No.
Trustee Gonzalez says it's a political poison pill to scare off competition.
Discourage people from running is probably the first thing that comes to mind.
Is this legal?
No, it's so illegal in so many ways.
Imagine getting a job and they're like, well, if you get this job, we will have to lower it by 90%. Why?
That's racist.
I personally have not seen a lot of black dictators, but she definitely falls into the category. But who cares? Win for progressive people for gender and racial quotas. Number 1, she has a mobile beauty salon. Hire horrible criminals that give bad example. Who cares? And 3, opening hearings by playing disco.
New at 10, making a political statement with some disco in south suburban Dalton. Take a listen.
How y'all doing? Ain't no stopping us now.
All right, karaoke night apparently at City Hall. That's Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard kicking off tonight's board meeting with her rendition of the 1979 hit Ain't No Stopping Us Now. The reason for the throwback jam? An appellate court ruling threw out a June recall vote that would have removed Henyard from office.
She didn't defund the police. She funded the police.
A former South Suburban police chief is blowing the whistle on the embattled mayor of Dalton, Tiffany Henyard.
Yes, Fox 32 has investigated Henyard's use of a police security detail, taking officers off the street and costing thousands of dollars in overtime.
And the manpower was just very stressed and critical to the point of almost breaking, having to provide officers on the detail rather than have officers out patrolling the streets.
Former Dalton Police Chief Robert Collins spoke to us from Florida, where he's taken a new job. But he says he remains frustrated by what he experienced leading an undermanned, overworked police department. Last year, Fox 32 investigated Henyard's detail, following along as Dalton police officers drove her from morning till night, often to her second job as Thornton Township supervisor in South Howland, racking up hundreds of hours of overtime, costing taxpayers tens of thousands of dollars.
We needed those officers to be on the street fighting crime. And instead, we have several officers that are riding around protecting the mayor.
At least 2 and as many as 4 officers at a time, he says. Collins says the security detail was warranted when it started in 2021. after a police-involved shooting sparked protests in the community.
And at some point, the protests stopped. The things going on around the protests all eventually stopped. However, the detail continued.
But now he says it's turned into more than just security. Officers are being used as Henyard's personal valet.
And guess what? People started calling her out, and you know she is a respectful woman, and she is fighting for the concern of the people of Dalton.
Y'all should be ashamed of y'allself. Y'all black. Y'all are black. And y'all sitting up here beating and attacking on a black woman that's in power. Y'all should be ashamed of y'allself. Y'all forget I am the leader. They want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet. The mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing, that only run their mouth. Y'all don't do no work, no work.
Tiffany Henyard considers herself something of a crusader, but one who's clearly annoyed by questions from a rebellious group of Dalton trustees who are in a standoff with her over spending. WGN Investigates has cataloged tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars spent on trips, meals, and more by Tiffany Henyard and her allies in Dalton and on the Thornton Township Board, where she's the supervisor. Township credit card records show Henyard and other officials spent more than $67,000 on trips to Portland, Austin, Atlanta, and New York City. Many of the flights were first class. So were the accommodations. In Atlanta, Henyard and her team stayed at the Four Seasons Hotel, costing taxpayers more than $9,000. In New York, the bill came to $13,000. Henyard has refused to explain the specific purpose of the trips or why they travel in such style.
But anyway, let me know if you guys enjoyed it, thought it was surprising. Was the Netflix show amazing? Well, let me know with a like. Peace.
Don't get me wrong, ma cosa kita bong. Buta fire na mi blonde, kush hash, purple skunk, criollo, colombici, jam, turloqueta, verdeta, welcome.